Detroit done through and through. Welcome back. Steve here. Got another good episode for you guys. I'm going to be talking about a Detroit Lions player that I don't hear or see any other person really talking about, and that's Alim McNeill. Now, let me just give you guys some context. When we do some live shows every now and then, I remember someone asking if we watched other podcasts, and my answer has always been no, for the sake of not subconsciously wanting to steal opinions or accidentally saying something similar. I know a lot of us YouTubers, podcasters, whatever you want to call us, we talk about a lot of the same topics, but I have not heard or seen anything even closely related to Alim McNeill in quite a while. And I want to know why that is. I'm looking at Alim McNeill to be, I think he's going to be one of the bigger productive players coming for this 2004 season for the Detroit Lions. Him and Jack Campbell are probably my two defensive players that I'm looking at the most coming into this offseason, OTAs going on and going into training camp here soon. I'm looking at Jack Campbell and Alim McNeill, but we already talked about Jack Campbell, so I want to focus a little bit on Alim McNeill. He's kind of in line to be the next Detroit Lions to get a contract extension, being a free agent after the end of this season. So I think Alim, what we see in the NFL is guys in contract years show out and they show up and they produce. I think we're going to have a hungry, motivated, just absolute wrecking ball of Alim McNeill. And one thing I think about Alim is, we could talk about his body transformation, and we were a little bit worried. He said he wanted to turn his body into more of a pass rush. But let's not underestimate what he does in the run game. I think a lot of us Detroit Lions fans take for granted a little bit how good our run defense was last year. Yeah, we were getting shredded through the air. We could use some more QB pressures and stuff like that. We can all talk about that, but I think we kind of got to a point last year where we were just like, oh yeah, our run defense is pretty good. Like, we didn't have teams gashing us or run. I think we were like top 3 in run defense. That's very, very hard to do. So going into 2024, I believe our run defense is going to be the same, if not maybe a little bit better with the addition of DJ Reader. And Alim McNeill has been the anchor of that defensive line right in the middle. So I'm looking at, let's just think for a second about what it could mean with Alim McNeill and DJ Reader right there, just being 2 plugs right in the middle. As a quarterback, what you're worried about is having those guards and centers just pushed directly back into your lap right when the ball is snapped. And I can't think of a better defensive tackle duo than DJ Reader and Alim McNeill. Now, with that being said, I'm not trying to say that they're Aaron Donald or anything of that caliber, but the two of them combined, you snap that ball, and within a second, you've got your own guard, your own center right in your lap. It makes your escapability a lot harder. Where are you going to escape to? You're going to boot out toward Aiden Hutchinson's side. On the other side, you got Marcus Davenport, maybe a James Houston. So I think Alim and DJ right in that middle there, not only are they going to be absolute studs in the run game still, I think our pass rush defense is going to be a lot better too when it comes to QB pressures. It's got to be the most uncomfortable feeling in the world with 2 athletic defensive linemen that are that big and can push pockets back like that and just collapse it and kind of be game wreckers. But Alim McNeill, let's just look at last season. Like his rookie year in 2021 and 2022, played all 17 games. This past season in 2023, 13 games played. He was a little banged up and still was his most productive year. He had I think it was a knee injury early December, and he missed some crunch time. But through 13 games, he still had 32 tackles, 17 solos, 17 solos, 15 assisted tackles, and he had 5 sacks on top of that in 13 games and a forced fumble. I think contract year, Alim McNeill, second year with this new body that he's given himself, by good diet, exercise, and still being big enough to maintain his disciplines in the run game. Adding DJ Reader, Alim McNeill, why is no one talking about him? Why? I just don't understand. For me personally, this is just my personal opinion. The defensive tackle position, I think we all kind of get lost, and I'm guilty of this too. When you think of pass rushers, you think of those TJ Watts, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson. We want to see him be one of those guys. We kind of get like a little taste of what it's like to have a nice pass rush sometimes with Aiden Hutchinson. Not sometimes, quite a few times. If you take Alim McNeill and you're getting that pass rush up the middle as well, guys, I think this is going to be a monster year for Alim. I can't wait to see him. I want to take you guys back to the DJ Reader press conference when he signed with the Detroit Lions. They had him at, I don't know if it was at Ford Field or the practice facility, but he was being interviewed, and I remember very well. One of the things he said was, I can't wait to get my hands on Alim McNeill and see what he knows. Kind of not, I don't want to use the word groom, but kind of see what he's comfortable with, I think is what DJ Reader said. See what Alim is comfortable with. You know, us Carolina boys, they have that connection. He wants to get his hands on him and kind of turn him into a more dominant player. And I think DJ Reader is going to be a very, very vital piece to his development. And this year is going to be a huge year for Alim McNeill. If there's one thing I truly, truly believe, guys, it's that our secondary, as much as I love the names and the pieces on paper, it's got to translate to the football field. And my philosophy has always been, if you have an elite or a really good pass rush, it doesn't matter who you have back there in the secondary. You could have Charles Woodson, you could have Stephon Gilmore in his prime. You could have guys like Sauce Gardner. You could throw all those guys back in the secondary. You're not covering in the NFL with today's rules for longer than 3 to 4 seconds is pretty favorable. If you can guard for 3 or 4 seconds, you're looking pretty good, because I'm expecting a pass rush to be in a quarterback's face within that amount of time. So I'm looking at our revamped secondary. I'm really hoping that it translates from paper to field. Sometimes it doesn't always. I'm not trying to be a hater or be critical here. I'm very high on our rookies that we drafted. Carlton Davis, I like that, but I'm talking to Lee McNeill. If we get that pass rush down, good night. Thoughts and prayers. We say it here all the time at the Detroit Den. Cover up your weakness with a strength. Our weakness last year was our pass coverage. We addressed it. We also got stronger in our pass rush. Believe it or not. I know. I've heard some snippets, and I know in the beginning I said I don't follow other podcasts, and I don't. But I've seen some stuff on Twitter about other people's shows and how critical they've been about this pass rush. But I've always said our starting 3 guaranteed is going to be Aiden Hutchinson, Alim McNeill, DJ Reader. Who's going to be on that opposite defensive end side of Aiden Hutchinson? Is it going to be Marcus Davenport, Matthew Betts, the kid from the CFL? Is it going to be James Houston in some type of way from the linebacker position? Kaminsky? It's going to be Josh Paschal. We don't know. But if we can just get one of those names to step up, produce, contribute as a whole, you take all those names I just mentioned, you bottle it up, and at the end of the season, you say that group of guys got around 9 to 11 sacks, I think we're all going to be pretty happy. It doesn't have to be just one player. We have a collection of guys who are capable of getting it done. I put it in kind of terms, if you're a baseball fan, of a bullpen. You know, certain guys in certain situations coming into the game, getting some snaps, getting some meaningful snaps, some pass rush, maybe some sacks. Throughout a 17-game season, I don't think it's impossible for those list of guys of James Houston, Paschal, Kaminsky, James Houston, Matthew Betts, if he makes the team in training camp. I'm pulling for him, but I don't know. We'll have to see. You take any of those 5 guys, and you get me 9 to 11 sacks. That's all I need. We might just have to use that opposite end of Aiden Hutchinson as like a bullpen, you know, just kind of a committee. Whoever, Aaron Glenn, Brad Holmes, whoever they like in certain situations, if it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 11, I don't know who it's going to be or what the situation is going to be, but I expect that they will use those 5 guys in different types of scenarios, and our pass rush is going to be just fine. It doesn't have to be just one player. I'm talking to Lee McNeill having a breakout year. You know what you're getting from Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to be a dog. He always has been, always will be. High motor. DJ Reader, he's going to command 2 blocks at all times, no matter what. He's a big physical specimen. You cannot block him with one offensive lineman. And then you put that other end of Aiden Hutchinson. Those 5 guys I just gave you, contribute by a committee. That's kind of the philosophy I think we're going with this year, guys. So I know I kind of focused a little bit on Alim McNeill this year, or this episode. I'm really high on him. Like I said, him, Alim McNeill, Jack Campbell, very high on them this year. I'm looking forward to training camp getting started and seeing what they do. Contract year for Alim McNeill, man. I think he's going to have a hell of a season. I can't wait to see it, guys. So leave some comments down below. Let me know how you feel about Alim McNeill and some of the other guys I mentioned, guys. And we will be back later with another episode. Peace.